For a long time, I kind of denied that hypergamy was like real.
Really?
Yeah. And
I
then
I managed a strip club. At no point did I ever deny that hypergamy was real.
Would you mind providing a definition?
Yes. The way I define it is a woman choosing to try to get the highest status man she can't get. This is, I know it's really weird to say it like that. A lot of people say a woman trying to get the highest status man she can get. That's not correct. It's the highest status man she can't get. The highest status man she can get, she marries. She cheats on that man with the highest status man she can't get. So basically, hypergamy is one of these situations. The way it was described to me, and by the way, I wasn't the one who came up with this. It was Sheryl Sandberg from Microsoft. If you guys want to look up the Sheryl Sandberg quote where she said, tells women to date all different types of men, but in the end, you need to settle down for the nice guy. But in the beginning, you need to date the bad boy. And by the way, men have a similar algorithm. It's not called hypergamy. But women have an algorithm where they're consistently looking for alpha traits in males. And whenever they're with a male for a certain period of time, then all of a sudden they're going to be like, these traits that you have, they're no longer alpha, therefore I'm going to move on to the next guy. And they make excuses like, oh, I've changed as a person. We're looking for different things now. No, this guy you're with is not alpha anymore, and he's not validating what you want. But we can get into alpha and beta. Alpha, beta is completely contextual. It's not like there's not like a consistent alpha thing. I'm alpha when I'm on stage speaking. I'm beta when Tony Robbins is on stage speaking. You know what I'm saying? I'm alpha when I take you into the nightclub. I'm beta as soon as Steve Aoki gets on stage. It's completely contextual, but like this idea, and like if a woman is offended by this idea, then you're denying evolution. There has to be some mechanism by which women judge men. There's nothing wrong with that. That mechanism by which they judge men is better qualities and better traits for survival versus worse qualities and worse traits for survival. And you must constantly be screening for that because your survival and the survival of your offspring depends on the man that you mate with. Not in 2022. Not in 2022, but in the pre-Pleistocene epoch, 100% it did. And that's what evolution sets you up for. You have a caveman brain. It's not a 2022 brain. So now, if you know that there is an algorithm that's consistently choosing for alpha, beta traits throughout, that's what hypergamy is. For men, same thing. We're just as guilty. The trope about the 45-year-old man who leaves his wife and then marries a secretary, that's the male version of hypergamy, but it's not called hypergamy. You could call it hyperandry. Maybe hyperandry would be the name for it. I don't know. I'm not saying women are more guilty than men, but you have to admit there must be some mechanism by which each one of the genders chooses the best mate. And for women, the term for that, the Greek term for that is hypergamy. That's the way I do it. Now, there's some really, really good and bad things that come from that. It's good if you understand hypergamy. It's really bad if you don't. Pre-selection is one of the main things for hypergamy. Dr. David Buss specifically talks about this. He does not use the word pre-selection. The term from psychology is called mate choice copying. And with
mimetic desire too.
Yeah, mimetic desire. Okay. So the idea is a man is more attractive when he's around other women. Okay, so my birthday party, I had 22 women follow me into my birthday party. They were all wearing orange because I'm a Longhorn. I went to University of Texas at Austin. So they all were born orange, came in there with me. I walk in with 22 girls, and another 10 or 12 girls come up to my table, introduce themselves to me, want to know what my name is, just completely irrational levels of attraction towards me because I was with so many women. I am not stating that I received this level of attraction because I'm special. I received this level of attraction because they could not figure out why so many women were with me. Pre-selection is a real thing. It has been studied in all kinds of different forms of animals, and it actually is a real thing. There's other things basically like masculine features, upper body strength, just different, like a V-shaped torso. But the thing is really, really fantastic book. One of the best books about female attraction I've ever read is Why Women Have Sex by Dr. Cindy Meston and Dr. David Buss of the University of Texas at Austin. And they find out there's 238 reasons why women have sex with men, which means there's infinite reasons. Whereas for men, there's like 4 reasons why men have sex with women. They're very simple. For women, it's what's called negative kurtosis. The bell curve is so wide for the different reasons that women have sex with men, which causes a variety of mating partners, which causes a variety in the species, which causes the species to be more robust. I know I'm getting into deep evolutionary stuff, but hypergamy is a function of evolution. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And if you don't want to call it hypergamy because you find that term offensive or whatever, you want to call it something else, you must at least admit there is some sort of evolutionary adaptation for men and women to seek higher status mates. That is inevitable. That is unavoidable. You must admit that exists. So anyway, that's what it is.
Yes, I love that. I knew that was your wheelhouse. Yeah. I love hearing you go on about that. Yeah. I checked out David Buss because of you as well. I remember you recommended it.
I've never been so nervous interviewing someone.
Oh, yeah, I bet. It's very fascinating. I wanted to deny it for a while. for some reason, even after the whole.
So what are the horrible, come with some of the horrible realizations you come up with once you realize hypergamy is real?
I started to question. I don't even want to say it.
I'll say it. Ready? This is one that's really. This is the hardest one for people to swallow as far as hypergamy. Ready? In order for the Homo sapien species to continue to exist, we must protect our children because our children are born pretty much unable to take care of themselves for the first 3 years. You would admit that is the truth. Everyone watching this, you do admit we're not born like deers where we can walk on day one. For the first 3 years, our toddlers have to be taken care of by the parents. Makes sense, correct? So unconditional love by a female Homo sapien must be reserved for whom?
The baby.
The baby. Let me say that one more time. Completely unconditional love must be reserved for the baby, which means it's not reserved for who?
The husband, the man.
The husband.
Yeah.
This is hard for people to swallow. I do not believe that a woman has unconditional love for a man like a man has unconditional love for a woman because she must unconditionally love the child. That's why an evolution, when you think about it from an evolutionary standpoint, it makes sense. So because of that, what you are going to find is women that will be with a certain man for a certain amount of time. And then when he no longer fulfills her requirements from a validation standpoint or from an alpha male or whatever standpoint you want to come up with, then she will choose a different male. It is called a mate switching strategy. There are scientific studies about this. I don't know why. This shouldn't even be offensive at this point. I mean, at this point, ladies, you all know a woman who left her man this guy was treating her well, but she just went on with some other dude. Like you said, you helped this girl grow her YouTube and she left you for some dude with 20 million followers. This is a real thing. It's a mate switching strategy. So because that exists, you understand this makes things very difficult. This is 10 in general. When the burglar breaks into the house, who is the one who grabs the shotgun and goes downstairs? In general, it is us as men that we're willing to, throughout history, it is us who go to war and we're willing to die for our family. The unconditional love for the family tends to be from men. Again, this is a theory that certain people who believe in hypergamy believe. And it's offensive to a lot of people because they want to believe, no, women can unconditionally love men. But I find that difficult to believe in the same way that men unconditionally love women. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this part, but I have yet to see anything that shows me that is not the case. That is one of the ugly things about hypergamy that people understand. And then the other thing is a man being exceptionally nice to a woman, buying her things, doing things, supplicating to her, and then she accepts these gifts and then goes and sleeps with some alpha male at the same time. This is also a function of hypergamy. And again, is this theoretical? Ladies, be realistic. Do you know a woman who's ever done that? Accepted gifts from one man, gone on a date with a man and not had sex with him, and then gone off and had sex with some other guy? Be realistic. How offensive is what I'm saying if you know it to be true? So that's the problem. Real life does not fit what we want to characterize male-female dynamics. By the way, men are just as guilty. Just as guilty. Sleep with a woman, say, hey, I do not want other men to sleep with you, so I'm going to tell you we're in a relationship with each other. Meanwhile, behind your back, I'm going to cheat on you with other women. Therefore, I keep you from sleeping with other men while I go and have sex with other women. Men are just as hypocritical. I'm not sitting here trying to bash women. It's just hypergamy has to do with women. If you guys want to get into a deep discussion about it, go back and watch the David Buss episode. The things that I'm bringing up are backed up by science and scientific surveys, even though they are incredibly offensive to certain people in gender studies and women's studies groups. The reality of the situation is they're undeniable at the same time. Anyway, go ahead.
It is. I mean, I'll say something at risk of probably offending even girls that I know that I am friends with. But when I was living in Hollywood Hills in a 5,000 square foot place and I had a driver and a Sprinter van.
I already know what you're going to say. I already know.
And then I was like, you know what? I need a year of self-work.
Yeah.
And I'm going to move to Boston for a year.
Yeah.
And I'm going to build. I noticed that I was treated differently by my female friends.
Yeah, dude.
They were a little nicer to me when I lived in the hills.
Bro, when I have, hey, do you want to walk the carpet of the Maxim party? It is crazy how they treat me differently at that point. It's interesting.
Which, again, I don't blame them, to be honest.
No,
why would they want to? I mean,
yes, no one is. I am not here to call women out. I know there are other podcasts out there that specifically all they do is call women out. What I am stating is that evolution must create some mechanism by which women can determine this man is good for me, this man is not good for me. And those heuristics that are created through that mechanism lead to things like cheating and leaving your boyfriend for a sugar daddy. Those things happen because of this. Not always. There's other reasons why. Sometimes you have a perfectly good husband. He gets fat, loses motivation, his testosterone levels go down, and you're looking at this fat guy every day, and then you tell your parents, I just don't want to be with this guy anymore. I don't love him anymore. I've changed. He's changed. And then you go off and find some other guy. You're not wrong for that. I'm just explaining the economic mechanism by which that happens. It's not fate or destiny or karma. It's evolution.